Good morning. My glasses popping up right there. Welcome to Practical Christian Lessons. I am Joshua Pearsall, and today we are going over Wisdom of Sirach, chapter 29. And we had some big announcements this past Monday. Today's the 7th. So go watch our video from Monday the 13th and see some big announcements that are going to be impacting our summer schedule. At least for a short time. I'm not sure exactly how long. We're in the middle of moving a house. That's why some of these books are gone. So it's going to be a little harder to work on some things in the background going on. But we're still going to be producing content that's hopefully good and enjoyable for everybody. I think that's it. I guess I should start adding in the start of the video as well. We do have a Discord now. It's open to the public, along with our huge resource, Learning, Living, and Defending the Faith. They'll both be in the doobly-doo below. You can go and check those out. You can pop in there, ask questions, get help with research, get help with tools for spiritual growth to take and equip yourself and to share with others. And that's our whole point in that Discord. And my glasses are in. I'll be talking about that all week. Guys, I should have gone to the eye doctor sooner. Wisdom of Sirach, chapter 29. He who shows mercy will lend to his neighbor, and he who makes him strong with a helping hand keeps the commandments. Lend to your neighbor in the time of his need, and when you borrow, repay your neighbor on time. Keep your word and be trustworthy with him, and on every occasion you will find what you need. Many men, supposing a loan is like a windfall, cause trouble to those who help them. He will kiss the lender's hand until he receives the loan, and to get his neighbor's money he will lower his voice, but at the time of repayment he will put it off, and repay it only with words of indifference, and blame the times. If the lender is firm with him, he will barely get back half the money, and will consider it as a windfall. If the borrower does not repay anything, he has robbed him of his money, and needlessly made him an enemy. The lender will then repay him with curses and insults, and dishonor instead of glory. Many men, not because they are evil, have refused to lend. They become afraid of being needlessly robbed. However, be patient with a man of humble circumstances, and do not keep him waiting for your alms. Because of the commandment, help a poor man, and in his need, do not turn him away empty. Lose your money for the sake of a brother and friend. Do not let it rust under a stone and be lost. Lay up your treasure according to the commandments of the Most High, for this will profit you more than gold. Store alms in your storerooms, and they will deliver you from all affliction. More than a mighty shield and better than a strong spear, almsgiving will fight for you against your enemy. A good man will go surety. A good man will go surety for his neighbor, but a man who has lost his sense of shame will forsake him. Do not forget the kindness his surety has done for you, for he has given his life for you. A sinner will overthrow the good things of his surety, and the ungrateful man will forsake his deliverer on purpose. Suretyship has destroyed many prosperous men, and tossed them about like waves of the sea. Suretyship has driven influential men from their homes, and they have wandered among foreign nations. The sinner who chances upon suretyship and the man who pursues profit-taking will fall into judgment. Help your neighbor according to your ability, but watch out for yourself lest you fall. The principle of life is water, bread, and clothing, and a house that offers privacy. The life of a poor man under a shelter of logs is better than great food in another man's house. Be content with little or much, and you will not hear your guest insulted. Going from house to house is a bad way to live, and where you are visiting you dare not open your mouth. You will entertain guests and give drink to the ungrateful, and beside this you will hear bitter words. Come here, stranger, set the table, and if you have any food at hand, feed me. Get out, stranger, somebody more important is here. My brother has come as my guest. I need my house. These things are hard for a sensible man to take, the rebuke of a household and the abuse of a creditor. And I'm going to look up what surety means just to be sure that I know what it means. In finance, surety is a person or party that takes responsibility for another person's debt, default, or other financial obligations. A surety can also be a person who comes to court and promises to supervise an accused person while they are out on bail. They also promise an amount of money to a court if the accused doesn't follow one or more of the bail conditions or doesn't show up to court when required. There you go. That is what charity is. And, man, I think there's a lot of great practical advice there. But let it be noted here, as far back as Jesus ben Sirach, there was already the notion, the necessities of survival. Food, water, shelter. There you go. And unsurprisingly, we're going to talk about money after that one. I think almsgiving is definitely something that we don't talk about a ton in the church. We absolutely talk about tithing. Tithing comes up, and this can be related to that, especially if your church has a robust ministry in the local, either poverty or homeless or low income, etc. ministry in your local area, which is a good ministry to be in. Just for I'm a big fan of that ministry. In prison ministry are two things my heart calls for. And there's a lot of wisdom, right? This is giving me a lot of Proverbs vibes, as of course this entire book does, and being wise in giving out money. There's talk in the Proverbs, right? Don't give money to a fool, and don't take up surety for your neighbor. Sorry. Don't just give money to people who you shouldn't be giving money to. Practical examples of this, because that can be kind of hard to narrow down in a nebulous way. And that's the way with a lot of things that you'll find in a lot of wisdom literature, is it's guiding principles. It's not always going to be concrete examples. So hopefully these examples I give in these videos can be helpful. If you have a family member who's an addict, don't give them the money. An example I know of it from a priest, there was a homeless man at his parish who was there regularly, and he would take him out to eat because he knew he was an addict, rather than give him the money himself. Or he would go get clothes, food, drink, and then bring him the items, rather than give him the money directly. And if you have a good homeless ministry or other kind of ministry in your local area, giving them the money can also be a way to do that. But a very practical, this is not necessarily based on this text, this is just practical advice I have in my own head. Don't give away the money unless you're okay not getting that money back. As he noted here, right, you might only get half the money back. So that shouldn't prevent you from giving money. And that's something you can see in the Proverbs, and here is a very practical word of advice from here. And in Proverbs, it's also big on, giving, as is throughout the scriptures. Give to those who are needy, give to the poor, to the oppressed, and feed them, clothe them, shelter them, take care of them. That is a huge theme throughout the Bible, especially in the prophets. But that doesn't mean you have to give foolishly. But that doesn't mean just because you are able to give foolishly and might get fooled, that it should prevent you from giving. You should be ready and willing to help where you can, because that is part of why we are given, right? That's what Paul says we work for. We work so we have something to give. That is part of the Christian life, is giving to others. We give because we have been given to, and as we say in our tithe liturgy, if you will, we read from 1 Corinthians every week. Lord, we give to you what you have given to us. All we do is give back. That's all we can do. Everything is from the Lord. But that's a super important thing. And that goes beyond just tithing. And I think that's something we really need to work on, especially in our Western culture. Tithing is something that can often be pressed on. But the very real and important and practical thing of helping the poor and the oppressed and the widow, not just financially, but in service, in company, in objects. These are things we need to be doing as the church. And not everyone's called to do all these things, right? Everyone's got their different gifts and their different callings. But we certainly don't do a good job of encouraging people to pursue these and helping them figure out if it's their calling, and then equipping them for when it is their calling. These are things that can be hard at times, and it's something we definitely need to learn to do, myself included. I'm certainly no expert on any of these things. I'm just a guy who tries his best, and his best is not always enough. But it is something that I think we can really push for in our Western culture, and push your church leaders. Go to your church leaders, laity or otherwise, and be like, hey, I think we need to step up in this area and start equipping the laity better. And that is going to be it for today, because I know money is not everybody's favorite topic, but who knows? Maybe today will be an exception. You guys have a wonderful day. God bless.